Welcome back. Welcome back to Living in Mexico. I'm Ana Maria Salazar. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. As you know, there's a very important meeting that's going to be taking place next week, and it has to do with the future of the USMCA. There has been I think there's an anticipation that this is not, we're not going to reach any definition regarding whether we're closing this review that established the treaty, this commerce treaty. But there still is concern that if there is no clear future in terms of what's going to happen with the USMCA, this could have a major impact on Mexico's economy and investments in Mexico. Joining us today is Gabriel Casillas. You know him well. He's been joining us throughout the years. He's the chief economist for Latin America at Barclays in New York. Gabriel, welcome to the show. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen at this meeting, but clearly there could be enough definition that could help the Mexican economy. Where are we right now with the Mexican economy? Why don't we start with that? Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Ana Maria. Always great to exchange views with you and your audience. So, trying to go quick at this one. Yeah, it seems that you're right. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen on July 1st in this first joint review meeting. It seems that it's going to be the beginning of some agreements and not the end, like to say, okay, this is it. This is the reviews we're going to make and we're going to sign this. Definitely not that. Exactly. And actually, if you ask, the U.S. Embassy in Mexico, the Mexican Embassy in the U.S., even with the new ambassador, and you ask the people from the USTR or the Department of Commerce or from the Ministry of the Economy in Mexico, they will all tell you that it's likely that we're going to go to these annual revisions. That, as you know, it's far from ideal from an investment standpoint, but at least there will be a decision on something, and so companies can decide what they can do. So in this context, to start with the Mexican economy, three things about the Mexican economy. Number one, we're coming from a first year of a new administration. Every first year of a new administration, the economy slows down significantly, like about 2.5 percentage points. We can go back to 2019 with AMLO, with the cancellation of the new airport and some other things. We can go back to 2013 with Peña Nieto, with the change of the formula of how to give the subsidy to low-income housing that affected construction. And I can go back every 6 years. I don't want to do that. But what I try to tell you is that last year, the Mexican economy grew 0.5%. It's very low, but actually should have been negative. With the usual standards, and it wasn't. So probably this year, 2026, the Mexican economy will grow something around 1.2%. That it's slightly more than double. Still a very sluggish growth rate, but it's way much better, no? And the number two thing, what happened last year and what will happen this year? The big hole in GDP last year was investment, no? Investment related to the USMCA, to trade. These companies have been in the past 14 to 16 months, not investing a penny, no? Because they're waiting for what's going to happen with the USMCA, the rules of the game, no? There are new ones or whatever. And the other ones, the other business people that is not fully related to trade, they have been waiting a little bit what's happening with the government, the tax authority, the SAT. They have been
very aggressive.
Very aggressive. Yeah, in the past few years, they have been aggressive, and they have been able to increase tax collection by 3 percentage points. But now I think they're reaching the end of these tax efficiencies because it's now creating a big burden for companies, and that has not allowed them also to invest. The investments they make sometimes is to hire people from the legal side or from accounting department to deal with these citations from the tax authority. The other important part why they are a little bit worried to invest more is the judiciary reform, no? So in this context, some of these companies, their goods and services have been demanded and have increased. So they have had to hire people. Actually formal employment in 2025, you saw a big decline in the first half of the year. And then, starting from June, we have seen a recovery, very gradual, but a recovery there. So they have had to hire people to invest at least minimum things in order not to lose any market share. No, so the Mexican economy still growing at slow pace, but much better than last year. No?
So even though there may not be a definition of the USMCA that would create a level of confidence in investors, it seems that there may be initiative, they may continue or at least make a decision. We just have to start investing, and we're going to go into Mexico, perhaps not as slowly, or perhaps not investing as much as we could. But at the end of the day, Mexico continues to be a good place to invest. Is that kind of the sense that you have?
Yes, so far, yes. I
Yeah.
mean, two things here. One, with the current, for example, in the car industry, that is the most important export industry
Right.
in Mexico, as you know, 25% tariffs on cars is definitely not good. No, it's really, it could really make a bigger dent. Why? Because the Eurozone and Japan, they only face 15%, 1.5, vis-a-vis 25. Of course, car makers in Mexico, if they export, USMCA compliant cars, they can deduct the content of the US. So that could lower the 25% towards 16%. But there's a very, there are very important bottlenecks and red tape in the bureaucratic process to do that. So in this context, it's the most important thing is, okay, we're going to stay with the USMCA the way it is, with some additional tariffs. At least the tariff on cars should go down. So I think that's one of the important things. Now, the other important thing, and I believe we have talked about this in the past, Ana Maria, is why companies continue to choose Mexico for nearshoring. No, I mean, and this is extremely important because you say, oh wow, with the drug lord and the violence and all that, all the bad things happening in Mexico. Yeah, but there are very good things. So what are the three major things that every factory manager in Mexico have told me in the past few years that benefit Mexico? Number one, engineers, the people. No, I mean, they don't hire low-skilled workers anymore. They want the engineers because everything is automated. No,
Right.
so engineers they tell me, just I'm paraphrasing. In the U.S., engineers don't want to go to a factory. Don't want to work in a factory. Sometimes they don't even want to go to the office. So imagine a factory. So that's number one, and Mexico has a very good graduation rate for engineers. So that's one. Number two, I say, engineers are very, very hardworking in Mexico, and they fix problems right away. Lines of production never stop. In the U.S., if there's a problem with line of production, it stops until the long-term fix comes. In Mexico, it's fixed by a chewing gum, by a stocking, but it's fixed, and then of course they wait for a longer-term solution, and that's second to none. And number three, and this is the one I'm not super proud of it, but they always say it, is environmental problems. If there is an environmental problem in the U.S., it takes weeks, months, years to fix, a lot of dollars. In Mexico, you can fix it in 2 days. No, I don't know what is involved there, but I don't want to know. But at least with these three things, Mexico continues to be an important place for investment.
So but I mean, part of the issue of this debate in regards to what's the future of the USMCA, the reality is even if there is a stamping on the USMCA and the negotiations are closed, Donald Trump is going to impose tariffs regardless. I mean, it doesn't seem that he's going to follow these treaties or respect whatever agreement is reached. If he needs to impose tariffs on Mexico for political reasons, and it may be security or maybe something else, he is going to do that. So, I mean, I don't know if the world is going to be that different if as long as Trump is president of the United States. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I remember discussing the art of the deal here with you some time ago. But it seems that the art of the deal that used to be like for his real estate businesses that expanded to other businesses, he now used them with tariffs. No, saying okay, instead of because the art of the deal is three parts. No, open up many fronts. Number two, you send terms of negotiation that are completely, difficult to accept by the counterparty. And then number three, see who sits down to negotiate. No, so he started using tariffs in the art of the deal sense, and of course, being the most important consumer country in the world, of course, that gives you a lot of leverage to do
advantage. Yeah, huge advantage in the negotiation. Yeah,
exactly. But on top of that, now he's using it not with tariffs, with aircraft carriers. No, so that's the case in Venezuela and now with Iran. So definitely, art of the deal I mean, as long as Trump's president, we're going to see that in most of the fronts, particularly with either with the commercial tool, or with the aircraft carrier tool. No?
One last question. I really appreciate you joining us. One of the purposes or one of the priorities of Donald Trump with imposing this tariff was trying to force companies to return to the United States to invest in the United States. Has that happened?
Not really. I mean, you just take a look at the data. It's not my opinion. The data on production coming back to the US. I mean, you saw I mean, on a net basis, no. It has been negative, actually, since Trump 1.0. But yeah, you have some cases, where, for example, Ford, changed the line of production to Detroit, seemingly very costly, but on a net basis, no. And actually, if things continue the way they are, for some companies actually, either having factories in Atlanta or in Mexico, it's going to start to become better just to, go back to their home countries, particularly the European ones, not so much the Asian ones, no? So definitely, there's need for some changes before it gets worse on a net base. So that the reshoring idea of President Trump, unfortunately, hasn't happened.
Has not worked out. It's always great to have you on the show, Gabriel Casillas, Chief Economist for Latin America at Barclays in New York. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ana Maria. All the best for you and your audience. Take care.
Thank you. We're going to